Okay, so we have our looped and cropped breakbeat. What we want to do now is chop this up. So it's kind of like an MPC where we can remake our own beat using those samples. So on the cropped clip, we're going to right click. It's very simple, and we're going to slice to new MIDI track. And this is going to analyze the transients and slice it into an instrument for us. Make sure you have transient selected here. And then for slicing preset, let's just use built-in. Preserved warp timing. We haven't warped anything, so that's okay. And then press OK. And then what we get is a new track, new MIDI track, named after the sample or the clip that we use. So I'm going to rename this into, I don't know, slice. Let's move it over here for a bit of separation. And on that clip, on that track, we have a clip, a MIDI clip that has all the different slices laid out. We don't really need that. What we're interested in is the instrument that got created. So this is the instrument down here. You can click on, it's a drum rack. You click on the first one, we have a simpler in there. And what Ableton has done, if we zoom out, it's taken that first, it's analyzed that first transient and that first section and set the start and end markers to that based on those transients. So now when I play my first pad, now of course you could do this by just playing on your computer keyboard. So if you don't have a drum pad, don't stress. Maybe use Z and A to change your octaves on your computer keyboard. And make sure also that you have this icon here enabled for computer keyboard use. Great. Now you might find that it's looping, and you might not want that. We have some macros here. I'm assuming your preset, your built-in preset is the same as mine. I'm on kind of a recent version of Ableton 10, or the most recent. So you should have something like this. If your macros aren't showing, you press the macro button and turn the loop length on the macro all the way down to 0. And you can see there it actually turns off the loop function. So now we can just play it once. Now, for a reason that will become apparent soon, what I want to do is just have two tracks associated with this. A MIDI track, so this one here, and then our instrument track, which I've called Slice. So I'm going to rename this to MIDI input. And what I want to do is set this track to input monitoring, this MIDI track. And then what I want to do is set the Slice track that has our instrument on it to receive MIDI from the MIDI input track. So MIDI from, and then the MIDI input track. So that means actually what's happening now is the MIDI's going in here and then getting passed to this track. Now on this MIDI input track, depending on what type of controller you have, for me I notice that when I play soft, the velocity, or play hard, the velocity is taken into account. You may want to remove that, you may not. I do, so I'm going to take a MIDI effect from this category, MIDI effects, and take velocity. And I'm not going to put it onto the slice, but I'm going to put it onto my MIDI input track, because remember, the MIDI's passing through this track, make it green or something, and then into the slice. And then on the velocity, turn up the output low to the top. So now, no matter how hard I play, I'll always get the same full velocity.